Political reporter for Real Clear Politics, Caitlin Huey-Burns is here. Hey.
Hello.
All right. So it could take. So the president-elect is saying Rex Tillerson, has good relationships with people that a lot of people don't like. But those people include Russian President Vladimir Putin. In this confirmation process, it could only take 3 senators. And you've got 3, Senator Marco Rubio, Senator Lindsey Graham, and John McCain, who have all expressed some concerns about Rex Tillerson. How do you see the confirmation process playing out?
Well, what's interesting about this is that Donald Trump is willing to take this fight to his own party. You saw that he's willing to go to bat for Rex Tillerson. And on the Trump transition call this morning with reporters, they were really singing his praises and said that Trump was really overwhelmed by the amount of support he's been getting from people like Condoleezza Rice, James Baker, former secretaries of state. It should be noted, however, that they have consulting ties to Exxon and they have been promoting Rex Tillerson as the Secretary of State choice. Nonetheless, they are representing kind of the broader foreign policy community. Donald Trump sees that as a good thing. I expect these hearings to be kind of the proxy war about Trump or U.S.-Russia relations. And so you're going to see these more conservative members in terms of foreign policy and defense really use these hearings to draw a hard line on Russia. So even if they end up supporting Rex Tillerson in the end, and that's no sure bet, I think these hearings will say a lot about how this party, members of this party, want to challenge their president if they decide to do so. It's very rare, though, to reject a nominee. Somebody
who was in contention for the Secretary of State position is the Senate Foreign Relations Chairman Bob Corker, and he's planning a series of closed-door classified briefings and a public hearing on the Russia hack that has been alleged by the CIA and to somewhat lesser extent the FBI. Will Republicans be able to separate this issue for Rex Tillerson? Well, his closeness with Russia and the fact that they tried to hack our democratic process? Well,
that's certainly what Bob Corker is trying to do here, because Corker has talked positively about Tillerson, also promoting the idea of an investigation. What they're also trying to do is separate the legitimacy of the outcome of the election from the hacking. In other words, to say, just because we're investigating the hacking, and we should investigate the hacking, these Republican lawmakers are saying, doesn't mean that this puts into question that Donald Trump won the election.
Right.
And so that's a really interesting point, because Trump has been dismissing these reports that the CIA and other intelligence agencies have been putting out there, because he believes it's only an attempt to delegitimize his presidency, and he has not been able to separate those two out. We heard from the statement from Paul Ryan, statements from people like Bob Corker, that they are trying to make that distinction. That's really critical.
You know, I interviewed Secretary of State James Baker, former Secretary of State James Baker, this morning, and he believes that there should be a bipartisan investigation into the Russia hacks. Have you, Caitlin, in your reporting, spoken to anybody from the Democratic Party, high-level people, that are seeking to claim that the president-elect is not the president-elect because of the Russia hack? Because that is the argument Donald Trump is making, which is that it's a politicized process. So far, everybody that I've seen, they say he is the president-elect.
You're not really hearing it from Democratic lawmakers, or especially those involved in the committees that are relevant to this kind of investigation. You are, however, seeing calls for the members of the Electoral College to receive a national security briefing before they put their official vote next week. So Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta has supported the effort to have those briefings. And so that is kind of promoting this idea of sorts that some in the Democratic Party, particularly the Hillary Clinton campaign, are drawing into question the results. You also have Democrats pointing to FBI Director James Comey and his intervention, they say, in the election. They've been kind of placing the blame on him. And so they are kind of creating this environment in which it looks a little bit questionable. But you do have Democrats in the House and Senate saying, look, we need to focus on the hacking itself, regardless of what the outcome was.
Because it's not clear that the hacking was to elect Donald Trump. It is what the CIA is saying, that the hacking was an attempt to disrupt the election. It's not clear that it was for either Hillary or for the president-elect.
Right. And what's interesting, though, is Donald Trump has not acknowledged the hacking was done by Russia at all.
Right.
So that's a really important distinction to make as well. It's not so much as, there is, the FBI and the CIA are debating, the exactly what the influence was, but they are not debating the fact that Russia did the hacking. And so Donald Trump is questioning that element of it.
And also, we should remind our viewers, Donald Trump invited the Russians to hack Hillary Clinton and to release those emails.
Exactly. And he's maintained that argument throughout the campaign, during the primary and during the general election, talking about, who knows who it could be, talking about that 400-pound man behind his computer doing the hacking. So he's kind of maintained that thread throughout and is keeping that up. Real
quick, what do you make of this summit with all these tech leaders? You got Sheryl Sandberg that's going to be in attendance, the people who run Google, Elon Musk is going there. What's the story there?
Well, this is an important thing for Donald Trump on a couple of different levels. For one, it looks like he's bringing in all sorts of different, the brightest and the best in the tech industry to come meet with him. The transition team is saying that, even though some of these people didn't support him, he wants to meet and solicit their ideas, focusing on American companies, focusing on business in the U.S. And so for him, it's a really important symbol of sorts to bring them in and solicit their advice. And that's how the transition team is positioning it. What comes of this, it's not yet clear, but the fact that you have all these people coming into Trump Tower, again, the symbol is really important.
Perhaps not as big of a symbol as Kanye and the president-elect, but we're going to be keeping an eye on it today.
Can't beat that,
Can't beat Kanye. Caitlin Huey-Burns, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Good to see you.